What's up, everybody? Welcome. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Give a chance to get everybody in here, whoever's going to show up, and then we'll get into it. Working on my own book right now, as you've probably seen me do. This is page 6. My new Butcher Queen story. Coming out eventually. And I might celebrate St. Patrick's Day tonight. Somehow. Don't know how. But since my parade was taken from me, I think I might enjoy some of their music today while we stream. Hopefully it's quiet enough not to really bother any of you. Love that part of the song, though. Very piratey. Alright, if you're in the chat, do I need to sign in to see what people are saying? Let's see here. Alright, well, not sure how chat's gonna work. I hope I can see it. But give it a shot so I can see what's up. It's got to be in a browser. Okay, that's what it said. Or I can watch the Discord. So lots of ways to chat here. Here I am. All right, so if you're in the chat and you sent me art in the Discord, tell me your Discord name and say do mine, do mine. Because, like, I don't know who Drac Orbit is. So, if you're here and you want me to look at yours, then say, hey. Oh, hey, Laurel. Well, Laurel, you got the amphitheater. I might as well start with you. Right. Hey, Sam. Welcome. Alright. So this amphitheater looks like a bottom left panel, if I had to guess. Gigi's here, what's up? Yeah, you guys made it. This might not be so bad after all, right? Alright, so this looks like half the page, both X and Y, if I had to guess. So I'll tell you how to do the perspective on this, but just to be sure, yeah, your name's not too cryptic. Anyway, so establishing shots, typically you want to have a good deal of real estate for. Like for me, this is my establishing shot on my page. It's kind of half the. It's definitely the whole page wide, and it's almost half the page long. So there's a lot of space sort of establishing where we are. And the next page, they sort of get into it and chase these guys. I don't know if you can see that really well. And then, I'll make sure this chat's getting through. It is getting through. Nice. Okay. So on the next page, the scene changes, and I don't know, it's sort of another establishing shot. Like, the camera flipped 180, now we're seeing things going the other direction. Anyway, the reason I'm saying that, just be careful where you're doing your establishing shots. It deserves some space, it deserves some real estate. If this is an establishing shot, then don't worry about any of that. Anyway, so, if we look at the shot I gave you, that's a tough one. So I gave you a very wide shot for a very tall panel. And being that nothing in this room is straight, the perspective is going to be a little crazy. Because you can see even these lines here don't line up anymore. See that? So our perspective for this room is tapering from top to bottom. See, these lines are converging down here. So that means obviously the camera is way up here and it's looking down. So the camera is, you know, up here and we're looking down into the auditorium. So the camera's horizon is literally up off of the screen like that. So that's the reason these lines are going down and converging down here. On a long enough timeline, on a long enough scale, these lines are actually going to connect somewhere, you know, way down there. So, another thing to look for is, let's see, just look for straight lines, right? Straight lines will help you dictate where your perspective is. So we look at these hand rests. So we look at the hand rests. See how much work it takes to get perspective straightened out. It's annoying, isn't it? But you see the pattern? It's starting to converge again. So it's fanning out down here and spreading out this way, and then this way it's going to converge. All those points are going to connect. So we're gonna. What that is that means we found a vanishing point. So somewhere, if you can see my cursor, here we go, way out here or more, all of these lines here are going to converge. So that's actually called a vanishing point. Now, so we actually have two vanishing points already. We got one way up top, one over here, and there's probably one over here as well. It's gonna be a typical 2-point perspective, maybe 3-point perspective. If you don't want to, you could probably just draw these lines straight up, the ones I did before, and be fine and nobody will care. That would be a 2-point perspective. But since we're looking below the horizon, we actually have 3-point perspective. Anyway, so the last perspective is probably going to be these chairs here. I think these chairs in the front are actually straight before they start to curve around the auditorium. And you're going to get a similar situation. So what I don't want you to do is not trace a photograph like I am now. I'm doing this now to show you how perspective works. So, you probably knew already, but, so all these lines, just like the other ones, my lines aren't really straight right now, but I'm just proving a point. All these chairs going, the cursor, up this way, are going to converge at some point, off the screen, off the page. Just because there's a vanishing point doesn't mean it's going to be on your page. Vanishing points typically are not in the picture, unless you're looking down a street, right? Downtown Manhattan or even downtown St. Louis. Looking down the street. Let's just do Manhattan. I don't know if that's going to give me the... Yeah, perfect. So, obviously the perspective is right in the middle. Vanishing point. So, Vanishing points right in the center. All of these lines, look at that, radiate right from it. Ah. Okay, see this line right here? And this line, and this line, and this line, and the fire escape. And all these little window lines here, and this fire escape. All come from that vanishing point. Look at that. All I have to do is do shift click, boom, right from the vanishing point without a fail. So obviously, vanishing point, that's how that works. But it's, so let me silence that. It's real easy when you can see the vanishing point in your frame. But sadly with your auditorium, we don't get that. So we have to draw vanishing points off the side of the auditorium. A lot of times you can eyeball it, but without fail, if you go back and if I do a scene, what up, Caden? Welcome. If I do a scene and then draw my perspective in later, I go, oh wow, my perspective was very off. This is bad. So sometimes it's good to lay down these ground rules first with a ruler and a light pencil, like a blue pencil or something like that. Get your perspective locked in before you start. It might be the very thing that keeps your scene from looking connected and real. Like I said, you can wing it and just draw from this photograph and do the best you can. And you might be fine with it, and it might look great. And you might get it so close that fixing it later won't even matter. It'd be so close, it'll look so good, depending on how good you are at copying a picture, right? So use photo reference, copy it best you can. Sometimes you need to draw in perspective to make sure that all your lines are lining up straight. So hopefully that answered. That was a 10-minute response. I hope that was fun. I guess I can draw over your picture too. So you've got your front auditorium here, and then there's the back curtain and the back wall. Probably something like that. And then I would, so this wall here, it's probably going to connect. See? So I'm sort of getting an idea. And typically, so here's the rule, right, with perspective, is that, so these lines here, the relationship between these two lines, they're not parallel. Parallel means the lines never meet. The way perspective works is that it will meet somewhere. It will meet on the vanishing point, and it cannot meet anywhere else. So if I'm doing rows down this, these lines are going to fan, which means this area here, these spaces they must be wider than these spaces here. It has to narrow as it gets closer to the vanishing point. So if you think about that when you're eyeballing a piece, when you're just trying to wing perspective, which after time you probably can, you get that sort of relationship in your head. So, you know, when we look at the arms of that auditorium, we know that when we're drawing over this auditorium, the lines of these chairs are going to meet at some point. They won't all just be straight. I can't, this is just a Photoshop trick, and I'm sure I've done something like it, but I'm going to copy this line going down because I think all these armrests will be the same. You know, just copy paste, and that's very wrong. See? It doesn't work because they're not the same angle. So, if you just wing, you know what I mean, like fudge it, like just make it happen, perspective. I just pulled out my earplug with my foot. And you keep that in mind, where lines converge, the closer to the vanishing point, you can go a long way with that. Same thing here. I know these chairs are going to get closer together the further away from me they are. So I know if this picture's not here, and I'm drawing in your auditorium, the chairs are going to be closer together right here than they are right here. How loud my stylus is? Sounds like a felt tip marker. Right? So if I'm winging this, which I am right now, which means it's only going to look so good. Now, Steens, in all her professionalism and time and expertise, I think wings a lot of her architecture, and it looks great, looks fine. You know, like there's scenes in Archival, is that what it's called? You know, where she's walking up the stairs. Yeah, archival quality. And the stairs just look like, you know, like this. They look like lines. gets the point across and you move on. Like, how long are you as an artist going to stare at another artist's stares? Right? Get the point across. It depends on the look of your book. Now, this quality for me is too rough. I'm super detailed, so I'm going to spend more time on my stuff. My dogs are barking. I probably need to get that, guys. Hold on. I'll be right back. Alright. Funny story. Funny quarantine 2020 story. My neighbor just delivered toilet paper. Isn't that hilarious? Alright. So let me quick wrap this up. Your seats are going to narrow. Blah, blah, blah. As you get further away and all that stuff, and that applies to both directions. So seats are going to get bigger as it gets closer. And then if we can imagine another vanishing point, which I don't know, I'm gonna guess it's gonna look something like this, maybe. You know, it's tricky. And then here's the backs of your seats. I'm just winging it here. I'm also not looking at that reference photo anymore, but yeah, just lock it in with some guidelines, stuff like that. I know that last bit was kind of rough. But yeah, use that photo reference. Just use photo reference, guys. For crying out loud. Stop making it so hard on yourself. I do think I over-explained that, though. So, who's next? Unless, Laurel, that's not good enough. If you want more, I can keep going. But yeah, so who else? We got Gigi's panels. Gigi's here. Alright, so your panels are usually mostly fun. It's more punk, but yeah. This is Flogging Molly. I love these guys. This is my go-to St. Patrick's Day music. It's actually my go-to all-year-round music. And no, I'm not Irish, even though I kind of look somewhat kind of Irish. I don't know. I don't even know what that means. Yeah, awesome. Well, let me know. Perspective is a big pain in the ass, but it gets easier, just like anatomy, just like everything else. Not life, though. Life doesn't get easier, as we all discovered. Alright, so this, I would like to see a little more rigidity. Gigi, if you're here. Yeah, you are. There are. A lot of these lines sort of are, I know it's probably rough, but you know, this line is going in and out. This line's going in and out. This line's going in and Me personally, even my some of my friends who are pretty rough artists, rough in style, not in execution. Execution, not in talent. I'm not wearing green. You can't see my closet, but there's not a lot of green in my closet, to be honest. I don't know if I own anything green. I got a shirt with a bicycle tire on it. Sorry guys, I got green in my eyes, that's all you get. Alright, so anyway, I would like to see this just a little more rigid. Personally, personal preference. So all these panels are lining up, all this, the top row is lining up, everything's just on a ruler, you know. Also, when... no, I'm not wearing any green, you can't see. Okay, so it's just a sketch. So yeah, so in the end, just make sure your gutters are really similar. And I think it's extra important in this page because of how kind of wackadoo your panels are. And that's not an insult, but because every time your panel layout is a little crazy, you're asking your readers to do a little bit of translation, right? When you do the typical Watchmen setup that's like this, most of the Watchmen just looks like this, right? That's pretty easy to read. So when you mix it up, you're asking readers to work a little bit to read your comic. So you don't want that, right? Clarity is the goal. So you want to make it as easy for them as possible. So make sure, like, that panel is wildly different than this panel, which might work. Like if this is somebody screaming, and then this is narrowing on somebody's eyes, right? Real dramatic, then that works. Just be careful what you do in these panels. And then these two panels are fine. And I have something to say after this. This isn't all of it, but trying to make sure all my gutters are similar. Also remember, no gutter typically means... what am I trying to say? Let me start that over. Gutter is typically a passing of time, right? So when you have like a teeny tiny gutter and it's the same through the whole book, it's just keeping the pace. Time's moving. When you have a big empty space like these two here, it's sort of like a snapshot in time. It's a void. And if you have a big huge gap like this, I don't know, my analytical brain's saying more time is passing. So anyway, keep your gutters similar. Now this last bit is fine. I don't see a problem with it. If you want cool gutter ideas, let's go on a little trip. Look up J.H. Williams III. I don't think we looked at him in class. I think we would have had we gotten there. Or had we stuck around. As far as panels go, he'll blow your mind. Here's one. For crying out loud. Sorry. Open image in new tab. There we go. So how rad is that, right? So that's Batwoman beating people up, and then each red strip is a different, like, panel. Hey, Chris. What's going on, man? Welcome. Let me think of another one. This one's kind of insane, too. Similar thing. No, not similar at all. So, it's hard to see and it's blurry, I'm sorry, but this is Batwoman beating up multiple people on one background, intersected by just a black line to separate the snapshots in time. So imagine the camera like panning across this scene, following Batwoman beating up these people. Yeah, this guy's insane. He's doing Sandman right now. It's quite a visual, quite a trip. Not all of them are completely insane, but I mean mostly. It's like his goal is to make things as insane as possible. Here's another one. Yeah, it's purpose, but like this is masterful storytelling. Not many people try this, and a lot of people that do kind of fail. I used to really look up to Kenneth Rocafort, and back when I did, my paneling was awful, and so was his. He used to do really disjointed pages. I love him a lot. I think his style is great, but he used to do these really crazy like this. Come on, what a waste of space. This is insane. Sorry, guy, I love you. I know you're not watching. Who cares? But like, that's just stupid. Look at all that waste of space. What are you doing? Saving time is what he's doing. That's the answer. Now this one's kind of cool, but it's still probably needlessly confusing. Some of the establishing shots at this weird angle. I guess that's Black Panther's sort of floating out in the middle of the page, and then the rest of the panel's down here. So he's technically proficient, but you shouldn't make your readers work to read your book. So that being said, let's be real careful with setups like this, which I don't do very often, but I'm extremely self-conscious about alienating my readers. And this is sort of a, what am I trying to say? This is sort of a negative way to look at things, but you sort of need to treat readers like morons. Lowest common denominator, like, it has to really be obvious. You know, so if you have to show somebody something and you go, do you get it? Like, the average person might, but somebody's not. And if somebody's not, then that means more than one person's not. So I try to avoid instances where somebody might not. And I just try to make it painfully, stupidly obvious. As if morons are reading my comic book. I mean, I don't really mean that, but you know what I mean. You just want to make it so obvious that there's just no mistake what's going on. And that's I'm going to go back to my page, because that's what I've been doing for like a week solid. Just trying to make sure that this next page makes sense. So I'm going to bump up my thumbnail. It's rough, but we got our scout on the roof here. Now, our couple is in the back. That's them. And then there's these guys roughing up these girls here in the front. Right? Pretty obvious. And then reverse 180. The girls get dumped, and the guys start running. The next page, one of our two gets left behind. Sid runs ahead. The guys split up, right? There's a building here in the middle. One guy runs down the alley this way. The other one runs this way. Bumping people all along the way because it's in a big crowd shot. Guy in the lead shoots back with like a wrist cannon. She's chasing. This one's a little tricky, but it hits over her head. And then she's taking sight down her rifle. So I struggled with that for like a solid day to make sure that read right. And I was also struggling with the script. The script had too much going on. But the reason I was struggling for a day is because I wanted it to be really clear, right? That's the goal. There's floaties in my water. So, make sure. Now, the reason I redrew your page is that this will work if everything else leads the reader's eye in the right direction. So, as long as what's going on, how's that come out? That's kind of weird. If the action here I don't know what's going on, I'm just drawing. The action here leads the reader to the next panel. And then the action here has some sort of perspective or lighting or whatever that leads the reader down here. And then something's going on here. Maybe everybody's standing at an angle. Extreme camera angle or something like that. But something is going to lead. Maybe it's just the speech balloons, right? Something has to lead the eye. Sheesh, I cannot speak. Leads the reader's eye to the next panel. So I don't know what I'm drawing. Now it's a car. Now it's the front end of a car. I have declared it. Looks like a Chrysler 300. Right? Something is reading the viewer's eye. I keep confusing reader and lead to the next panel. So I'm going to quit thumbnailing, but the trick, Gigi, is that every piece of art somehow lead... Now this is the tricky one, coming back this way. You need eyeline to travel organically. Now you can make a quick break here, I guess, but if you can find a way to get the reader's eye to go back here and then travel across here. Look at that eyeline. That's crazy, right? Okay. Do what you gotta do. But, so yeah, you got a lot of work ahead of you with this panel. That's all I'm saying. So that's basically it. I'm kind of done with your page. That's all I had to say. Just be careful. It's a lot of work, and you're asking a lot from your readers to be that complicated. So, yeah. Okay, who else is here? Who else sent me stuff? Drac is here, or Draco, right? Drac Orbit. So, here we go. Alright, so this is pretty good. I like it. I like the line quality. I get what's going on. A few things. I would say that you don't need a street light and the moon. It's a little redundant. There's an opportunity here to emphasize on one or the other. Let's see if I can do levels here. Yay! Photoshop. Yeah, I would get rid of the lamp because it's hanging off the side of the page anyway. So, oh hey Caitlin, right on. So the side of the page was over here. Whoa, big old brush. What the hell? Why is the brush so big? Alright, so there's something called a tangent in art and design. And you don't want... This is the side of your building. You don't want a lamppost right here on the side of the building, and then a lamppost coming out from the side of the building. That doesn't make sense. And it would make me wonder why. Unless it's some sort of thing attached to the building, you know, like one of these guys, and then I'm seeing it like bolted to the wall with a power line or something, you know what I mean? Like, unless it's on the wall. But to have a light right next to the wall, which is also right next to the edge of the page, that's like 3 tangents in one. You don't want to do that. It's really something stupid and minor, like a background, but my brain, my eye, obviously I'm talking about it first, my eye shot right to it, so it didn't work. Oh, this is the lamppost. Okay. Then don't let the panel cut it off. Bring it in. Don't line it up on the side of the page. That's still a tangent. Even if you did or didn't. Also, and to have it come in here looks like it's really short, unless it's behind them. Right? Unless this person's like 15 feet tall, and they're right next to the top of the lamppost. So if this is way behind them, and this is the curve of the hill, then have it come up from behind the curve of the hill, maybe. And then, what you could do to help sell the idea is put another one right here. That'd be kind of cool, right? So it looks like the street's being lit. And then put the moon, you know, over here or something. But yeah, don't line it up on the side of the panel. Don't cut off a vertical. If it was the side of a building, cut off a building. You're not going to draw the whole building. But if it's a lamppost and that lamppost is just on the edge of the panel, that's kind of weird. Don't do that. That's weird. I'd say a tree is fine too. You can cut off the side of a tree because there's probably going to be more than one tree. Let me think. I would probably reserve these trees not to be just directly behind the head like that, or just do more of them. Yeah. These two look like they're like little fire spirits, like hovering around the head. So just do more. More trees. Just more. More detail. You don't have to go crazy with detail, and these bushes here are big, cloudy bushes and simple and stuff. That's cool. Maybe some sort of thing for the shadow, especially since there's a light behind her. Them. I don't know the gender of this person, so we'll just say them. Shadow would be neat. And then if it's a sidewalk that they're walking on, right? Is it a sidewalk? Is it grass? Not that that's really important, but it's another opportunity for storytelling, right? And you don't have to go crazy with it. See how I love cartooning because it's simple. But how much grass do I need to draw to get the point across? There, done. Now they're on a sidewalk in the grass. Right? Easy peasy. So. Probably add more sidewalk lines back here. Just to show that, like, something's happening in the background, or that they're walking away from the thing that they're still walking on. Right? Just sort of solidify the idea. This is a style thing. You've got your trees sort of ending right here, just at the top of your tree. I'm going to say, just because I'm a big dork, that if the trunk is this thick, then that tree is going to be freaking huge. And it's going to go on much bigger. So, you can keep your simple concepts and principles, but still add simple details to add, especially because it's a full page spread, right? Go as simple as you want when you're not taking up an entire page. But now is an opportunity to really lock the scene in. And sell your story with some very simple storytelling things like cracks in the sidewalk. Is it a good sidewalk? Is it a crappy one? Or is there garbage in the park? Is it a nice park? Is the park cut? You know, lots of little things you can tell the story with. Is there a trash can? Is it overflowing? Are there hypodermic needles? Whatever. Fast food wrappers. Yeah, so there. Some detail. Yay. Now, let me think. I don't think anybody else linked any more pictures. Somebody linked a page. Who is Square Stingray? You linked a page in here, but it doesn't have a file extension, so it's just a file. If anybody else has any requests from now till next week, just send them to me. I won't wait till the stream to cover them. I'll cover them as fast as possible so you guys can keep moving. Just send them my way. Send them in Discord, send them an email. You know, I'm home all day, every day now, so Ah, figured that was you. So, that page, that thing you linked didn't work. Maybe I can try to rename it. Was it a JPEG or a PSD? It says page 2 complete, but there's no, like, file extension. I'm gonna try JPEG. That worked. Got it. Wow, God, that looks incredible. Sheesh. Wow, that's very great. Wow. Wow. That's cool. I can see a few things, but not with the art. Art is awesome. What am I holding on to? Still holding. Did you miss something? Forget something? If you don't say anything, I'm gonna keep going here in just a second. Yeah, GG, and that's insane. So good. Alright, well, he said hold on, but I'm not gonna hold on. Alright, so, he said hold on again. I'm so confused. What do you want me to do? That's totally fine. Totally fine. Look at mine. Mine are also all cubes. Let's go through, let's go through my last book. Let me fill up the whole screen like that. Oh, Windows. You like messing with me, don't you? Alright, so look, all square. 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 All square. Kind of broke the fourth wall on that one, because that's like psychic energy. Square. Square with some overlays. Overlays, still square. Bottom one gets a little crazy because shit's getting a little crazy, right? So everything's normal until they're not, and now she's getting attacked by like a swarm of like sewer zombies, right? So, and then that's a full panel or full screen. All right, this one's a little crazy too. It's mostly all square, but it's all dark, so the panel borders are starting to bleed. And then the last one's at an angle because again things are going bad, and then back to normal. She falls over. She's being investigated by these cops, and things are back to normal. So I like, there's overlays. I like overlays a lot, but I'm careful with them. I don't try to use them too much. Back to square. All square. Oh, I love that one. Panel, the glass breaks. Nicole, if you're here, Nicole did something like that with her coffee pot. Sort of breaking the panel border. Sort of breaking the rules here a little bit. Definitely breaking the rules here, but this is like the craziest action set piece of the whole book. So I wanted this to be kind of bananas, right? This wasn't supposed to be a Ben Sawyer expose. I'm sorry about that. But here's a big grody one with no panel borders. Right? But anyway, most of my panels are square, and that's fine. Don't feel bad about that. That's how you tell stories in comic books. So, also, there's nothing really crazy going on in your book right at this page. So when things go crazy, mix it up a little bit. But don't force it. Yeah, some of my favorite artists, like Sean Murphy, most of their... see if I can pull some up. Most of his storytelling is done in a square panel. Because I've seen so many artists do crazy borders, and they look so bad, and they just don't pull it off right, that it ruins the whole book. Even his super crazy pages like this are still contained in square borders, right? Like, that's an insane page. Let me find a better example, though. That's not much going on. It's not really an action piece. That looks too small to blow up, but you sort of get it. But yeah, all his storytelling is done in rigid panels. Here's a good one. This double page spread from his book called The Wake. So this is a double page spread, right? So you're looking at 2-page spreads. So the whole top panel covers both pages, and so does the whole bottom panel. But everything else is just a square panel, just to tell the story. So don't fret about square panels. They are the industry standard. And if you want to be like J.H. Williams III, then you're going to have to study, because that shit is insane. Alright, so to the things I wanted to mention about your page. 1, it's incredible. The only things that really bother me are that your dialogue is a little too close to the edge of the bubble. God, my nose is really bothering me. Probably nose hair or something. So, what is happening? So this here, the distance between the bubble and the text is a little close. Also, when I like this format here, so the words what is happening? The words sort of form their own bubble like this, see? The top sentence is narrower than the middle one, which is narrower than the last one. That's a good format. This one, I would have hit enter right here, so that the top sentence is smaller than the middle sentence, which is bigger than the last sentence. And that's actually probably all we need to do to fix this one, is push enter at she. Put worries on the next line. This one's mostly fine, but again, it's just a little too close to the edge. I don't like that. It's kind of bothering me. And then you have all this empty space here. Yeah, this too, look, that's almost touching. And you have all this dead space down here. So I would say don't be so locked into doing... And it looks like all these are almost the same size. I mean, me personally, I like the big messy bubbles where they don't make any sense. Like this. And it's sort of misshapen and lumpy. Album's over. So that's one way. I like sort of the big anime ones where they just sort of, that's how I do most of my books lately. They're like that. Now if you wanted to make them perfectly circular, I would say, because it is a good look and it does look very clean and very old school and very professional, don't worry about being so ovular. Go ahead and make a circle. If that's what it takes to fit your text, just go taller than wide, you know. But more importantly, just keep your text off the way, away from the side like that. Try to put it more in the middle. Also, I would say that the line thickness of this is probably a little thick around your balloons is a little thick. Alright, so how I did what I did. I have a shape over here on the right side of my screen, see under my webcam. And then I'm going to hit this FX button. Definitely nose hair, giving me problems right now. And then I'm going to hit stroke, which is going to open this box here. And then you've got right here at the top is how many pixels you want your stroke to be. So now anytime I draw on this layer, it's going to have a stroke around what I'm drawing. I can draw like that. I can do words like that, which I do a lot. You can do special effects like that, like if something's sparking or on fire. It's like a cheap, easy way to do line work. But it's also how I do letters, so... Except that's not what I wanted. New layer, please. There we go. All right. So the way I would do it, and this is my own style, is I would just draw a really lazy lasso around the word and then fill it in and clean it up a little bit. So if there's any like rough spots, clean it up, or like literally erase some of the extra. Like if I'm making my lasso and I do this by accident, I can like hit the eraser and just erase that off. Hey, what's up, man? Welcome. I'm actually teaching my class right now, since class is canceled. So, well, not canceled, because here we are. And then, so yeah, Caden. So I can just keep drawing and adding onto this, right? So, I'll just draw in my my balloon there, my tail. And I'm obviously hitting Control Z a lot because none of these look good to me. And these are all kind of shaky, so I think my hand is shaky. There we go. Anyway, I've got a lettering tutorial on the YouTube page, Caden, if you want like a slower refresher on how I do it, or if you want to refresh on what I just did. It's basically moment by moment, beat by beat, what I taught in class. Yeah, I think I've got a whole tutorial section on my YouTube page. And lettering is definitely on there. It's about 10-12 minutes long. Something like that. So, yeah. What else? But yeah, I like your page. It's gorgeous. Your words need a little... you know what? I wouldn't even matter or care how your words are set up. I wouldn't have to rearrange your structure, your sentences, if the balloons were just a little more snug around them. Does that make sense? So, if that's just a little tightened up, like it's so close to looking super professional, I would just tighten up your word balloons a little bit. Not even your words. Words are fine. But the word balloons. Like this one here, the fact that it's so tight to the top of the balloon and there's so much room down here is very strange to me. Right? Like there's no room up here. And there's all this dead space everywhere else. I don't see the point in that. So yeah. Right. But yeah, awesome page. Very good. I'll tell you, put a lot of time into this. It's incredible. Get a Robo Shinwon. Yeah, good to see you, man. How are things been for you, by the way? Alright, so, I don't know, nobody else, if you guys have any questions, I'll go over it. If you need a demonstration on something, I can do that. If you guys have more work you want to send me, you could do that. My email is clear at the moment. Discord is all cleaned up. Nobody sent me anything else. It's been about an hour, which is what I wanted to spend. I don't think I need to stream for 3 hours like a class. I might next week. I'm not feeling very well this week, but I could stream longer next week when things maybe are a little... Well, they're not going to be more normal next week, are they? You never know. Everything changes day by day. Yeah, I'll give you guys a few minutes to watch while I work. Ask me some questions before I take off. Yeah. And thank y'all for hanging out. That went pretty well, I think. Hopefully you'll have more questions for me later. Go to the other screen, make sure I'm not missing a bunch of chat. I'm not. So I'm still figuring out the costumes for these two characters. This is their debut in the book. And they're in some like future sci-fi Dia de la Muerte celebration. I want it to look very cool. it's all sci-fi and cyberpunk, so need to keep that in mind as well. And they're supposed to be celebrating and laughing and having a good time in the streets. So I gotta design all that. It's tough. I like changing outfits, so my lead character's probably gonna change outfits like 2 or 3 times between beginning and end of the story, because I'm into that. It's fun for me. So whatever I'm deciding now doesn't need to stick. It just it's like, what am I doing right now? What are we doing right now in the year 2000XXX in Mexico City during Dia de la Muerte? I think a hood would be awesome. I've not put Sid in a hood, I don't think, ever. Now would be a great time, considering they're like hunting people. Plus she's got this like digital sugar skull thing going on her face, like a mask. And that would look really incredible under a hood, wouldn't it? And then maybe when she's running it comes off. Because you ever try to run with a hood? It doesn't work. Comes right off, right away. A hood with exposed arms? Yeah. Yep. That's happening. Sid's got great arms anyway, so absolutely. I was running what was I doing? It was Small Press Expo last year, and a lady came up to my table and saw Sid, and she's like, I think I'm even more gay now. It's like, I know, isn't she awesome? I love her so much. Sid is great. Alright, so a hood with no sleeves. What else? I don't want to cover too many features, so I don't want like a poncho. We could do that later. Long sleeves, a dress. I don't want any of that. Straps would be cool because that moves when she runs. She's got a gun around her back, and she's sort of like holding on to, you know, as she's walking around. That's probably peeking up over her shoulder right here. Exposed arms. Maybe give her a new tattoo, because it's been a while since the first book. Unless she goes clean, right? No tattoos. That'd be the cutting edge of the future, right? No tattoos. um, I don't know what to do about her torso. Love this song. It's a good song. Yeah, I don't know, that's tough. I love costume design so much, I don't want to just like wing it. You know, I want it to look good. I think it's pretty cool though. I like that. We'll do some crisscross patterns here. Some asymmetry. Some big old buckles here for no discernible reason. There's some LEDs on the lapel, and then yeah, sugar skull kind of makeup. Pretty cool. You guys have gone completely silent. I feel like it's a technology thing. Like everybody's trying to talk to me and I'm not seeing any of it. Cool. Cool. That works. But it has been about an hour. That's about the time I wanted to kill. I think I tackled everybody's issues for the moment. I do have some stuff I got to do. If you guys have any other issues, I'll be on Discord the rest of the night handling stuff. So, hope you guys enjoyed our hour together. Maybe over the next few weeks I'll do more. Depending on stuff, you know, what kind of time people have. So, but yeah, probably gonna sign off for the day. But you know, I'll be around. So, thanks everybody. See you on the Discord. See you around.